Hello everyone, and welcome back to Hoffman Reproductions. Ben Hoffman here today. Once again, thanks so much for joining in with us. On today's episode, something a little different. I'm coming to you from behind the camera lens this time, and I'm going to take you on a little tour of the Blacksmith Shop. We were going to start outside, but it is snowing and raining today here in Central Ohio, so for this one we're going to stick to the inside and possibly do the outside some other time. The building itself is about 10 by 12, nothing fancy, very simple in construction, but it does everything I need it to do. Unfortunately, it's not Colonial Williamsburg in here. I have a lot of hand tools mixed in with some modern tools because obviously I don't just demonstrate, I do this for a living, so I need to be efficient. But starting off, the shot you can see here is of my Blacksmith Forge, and this is going to kind of be a walking tour, so if I shake a little bit, you'll have to forgive me. But the forge that I have here is laid up out of brick and block. It's a masonry forge, and then goes on up through the ceiling there, and when we get up there, it turns over to, up there near where it meets the sheathing, turns over to rock for old-timey colonial appearance on the outside, which I'll show you some other time. But basically it consists of a table there, a cast iron fire pot in the center, and then a series of ductwork underneath, which is connected to that airflow pipe there and over to my hand crank blower. The blower that I use to generate the air for my forge, traditionally 18th century shop, it would be a double bellows. I don't have room for one of those, so I opted for the hand crank version. This one is a Champion number 400, and it's a vintage one. It dates from late early 1900s, but even after all that time, still going strong and supplies the airflow for my forge. Back up a little bit here. Got my hammers hanging there on the wall. Don't have a huge variety, about a half a dozen along with the tongs, but that's everything I need to do my shaping. Bucket of coal down there. This is a coal-fired forge. I either use coal, and you can't really see it, but it is down in there. I either use coal or charcoal in this forge, and then of course the hammers, all the shaping is done by hand. I don't have any power or trip hammers or anything. All done by hand. Got a cabinet there on the wall that I have just miscellaneous things stored in. Let's turn around here. Show you my anvil. Got a new stump, brand new stump, had to put in. The old one finally wore out after 10 years of service, so I have a nice sturdy elm stump there in the ground. Obviously the floor in here is gravel, keep it safe from sparks and metal and everything in the forging process. My anvil is a vintage London pattern anvil, again late 1800s. It's about an 85 pounder. It gets the job done too for everything that I need. Got a little tiny box stove here that I fire up on cold chilly days like today, and there is a little fire burning in there. And even on the coldest of days, it keeps me nice and toasty in here. One kind of cool thing is the pipe, the duct pipe, goes clear across the peak of the building and ties into the forge, so it all vents out of one continuous pipe into one outlet in the main chimney there. And it radiates heat, so you get the dual effect of getting rid of the smoke and radiating heat clear across the top of the shop. So that works out pretty good. Turn a little bit here. It's my various rasps and files that I use in the blacksmith shop when working on knives, swords, guns. Literally every single part at one time or another will get some type of a file run on it. I've got various shapes and lengths just for whatever you need. Different jobs call for different files, so try and have a good supply of those on hand. My workbench, back up a little bit here, situated right there. And again, it's not big in here, but it's got everything that I need. Got a heavy-duty vise on the one end, some various chisels and miscellaneous equipment hanging there on the wall too. This is my sander. It's a 2x72. It's homemade. All that's made out of just recycled wooden parts with some springs and metal hardware attached. Converted a grinder from Harbor Freight over to run a 2x72-inch belt. Simple, but works pretty good. A few other small tools. Drill press, got a little lathe back there. The doors on the front of my workbench double as extra table if you need it. They're hinged so they can come out on legs if you need it. Panning around, I've got some of my steel supply in there. Various high carbon steels, some old springs, some scrap down there. Big load of antique files there for making different types of blades. Got my sandpaper storage there. Just miscellaneous tools and things shoved in here and there. Supply antlers for knife handles. More storage in there. We pan over on the workbench. I can show you my current project that I'm working on right now. 3 English trade knives. And those were ordered by a gentleman for some Christmas presents for some family members. So I've been working on those the last couple of days, getting those close to being done. Just about ready for the heat treat on them. And then they'll get some knife sheaths done. But this simple little space here serves everything that I need when going about the manufacturing process of all my knives, all my axes, any gunwork, swords, anything. If you've ever purchased from us, everything gets rough shaped, assembled, and fit and finished right here in this little shop. Again, not a huge space, small and quaint, but it gets the job done for whatever I need it to. Little shot of the outside, looking pretty rough this time of year in November. Open up the door there. See, we have you can't really see it, but there's a fire burning in there because it's chilly out today. Little firewood storage bin there. Keep me nice and warm and dry. And that pretty much will do for the 10-cent tour. Not very big, not a whole lot to show, but completely adequate for what I need it to be. I know I said on our last episode we were going to do a knife forging, but I thought let's go ahead and pause and show you the area where the forging is going to take place. A little tour here before we get going. So in the next episode we'll dive into knife making. So once again, thank you all for joining in with us today. It's been a pleasure having you here in the shop. And I just want to remind everybody, if you're new to our channel and you'd like to subscribe, please feel free to do that. That way you can get notifications when the new videos come out, and you can keep up to date with the current ones. So thanks again so much for tuning in with us today, and we'll see y'all again real soon. Thanks now.